Ever feel like you're just barely scratching the surface of what Excel can do? Well, you're in the right place. We're about to unlock some of the most fundamental tools that will seriously save you time. And honestly, just make you feel a whole lot more confident working with data. Let's get right into it. You see this? This quote from a Reddit user just perfectly captures that classic Excel aha moment. You know the one, when some small, super confusing detail finally just clicks. This count versus counta thing, it's a really common hurdle, and it just goes to show how one tiny difference in a function can completely change your results. So if that feeling sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we are going to solve this count versus counta mystery once and for all. And along the way, we'll build a really solid foundation with some of Excel's most important must-know functions. Okay, first things first, we have to start with the absolute building blocks. You've got to understand the difference between a formula and a function. I know they sound similar, but they operate in totally different ways, and knowing this is absolutely crucial. So think of it like this. A formula is something you write yourself, from scratch. You're the chef, telling Excel exactly what to do, like equals A1 plus A2 plus A3. But a function, that's a powerful pre-built shortcut. It's like a recipe that's already been perfected for you. The sum function you see here saves you from all that tedious manual typing. It's really the key to working smarter, not harder. And you know, the great thing about Excel is how flexible it is. There's really no single right way to do anything. When it comes to using these awesome functions, you've actually got a bunch of options. So you can just pick whatever method feels most natural to you and your own workflow. So how do you actually get a function in there? Well, you can just start typing it, and Excel's autocomplete will help you out. You can use the Insert Function button for a little more guidance. You can browse through the Formula tab, or even use shortcuts like AutoSum. But for now, let's just focus on the two most popular ways. Okay, so on the one hand, just typing a function is super fast and efficient, especially once you get the hang of it, because that autocomplete feature is amazing. But if you're just learning, or maybe you're using a really complex function for the first time, the Insert Function box is your best friend. Seriously, it guides you through every single argument so you don't miss a thing. All right, now for the fun stuff. Let's look at 4 functions that are going to handle, I'd say, about 80% of your daily tasks. These are the absolute workhorses of any spreadsheet. Mastering these is a total game changer. And first up, of course, is the famous sum function. Its job is simple, but it is so vital. It just adds up all the numbers in a range of cells you select. And the syntax? It's a breeze. Just equal sum and then your range inside the parentheses. That's it. Look at this. Instead of manually typing equals B2 plus B3 plus B4 and so on, you just use equals sum B2 B11 and boom, the total population in seconds. This is a huge, huge time saver, especially when you're dealing with hundreds or even thousands of rows. Next up is the average function. This does exactly what it sounds like. It calculates the mean of a range of numbers. It's perfect for when you need to find that central or sort of typical value in your data to understand it all at a glance. And right here, with just one simple formula, equals average B2 to B11, we instantly find the average population of all the countries on this list. Just like that, with one simple command, you're pulling a really key insight from your data. And now for 2 sides of the very same coin, min and max. They do exactly what you'd think. Min finds the smallest number in your range, and max finds the largest. These are so useful for quickly spotting outliers or the extremes in any dataset you're working with. Okay, so we've got the basics down. Now let's move on to some smarter functions. These don't just calculate things. They can actually count based on specific rules and even make logical decisions for you. This is where it gets really cool. And here it is, the solution to our big mystery. Look closely. On the left, the count function gives us 10. Why? Because it only counts cells that have numbers in them. It completely ignores that cell with text. But on the right, COUNTA gives us 11 because it counts every cell that isn't blank, whether it's got a number or text. This right here is that aha moment. It's so simple when you see it. Count is for numbers only. And the A in COUNTA, just think of it as standing for all. It counts everything. Knowing this little difference is absolutely critical when you're working with mixed data to make sure your totals are actually accurate. Now, the I function. This one literally brings decision-making right into your spreadsheet cells. You give it a logical test, a question, and it returns one thing if the answer is true and a different thing if it's false. This is where your spreadsheet starts to get really, really intelligent.
Check out this example. The if statement is checking if a country's population is bigger than the average. If it is, it spits out true. If it's not, it says false. I mean, with this, Excel is literally analyzing your data and categorizing it for you. How cool is that? And finally, let's wrap up with a little pro tip for data cleanup. Because listen, messy data with hidden spaces can cause the most frustrating errors that are so hard to track down. This next function is an absolute must-know for every single Excel user. I want you to meet the trim function. Its job is simple, but it is so important. It gets rid of all the extra spaces from your text, except for those single spaces between words. Think of it as your first line of defense against messy data entry. You see, the raw data on the left has all this inconsistent spacing that could totally break your other formulas. But on the right, trim has cleaned it up perfectly. Honestly, using trim first can save you hours of troubleshooting later. It's an absolute lifesaver. So let's do a quick recap. What do we learn? Functions are your powerful shortcuts. Sum, average, min, and max are your everyday go-tos. We finally solved that critical COUNTA versus count mystery, and you learned how to add logic with the if function and keep your data clean with trim. Believe it or not, you've just learned over 7 of the most essential functions in Excel. That is a seriously powerful foundation to build on, and it's going to immediately upgrade your spreadsheet skills. You now have the tools to make your spreadsheets really work for you. So the only question left is, what problem are you going to solve first?